Okay, well, we're going to welcome everyone that's on the call now. Be more joining. We're really glad you're here for our elevation call. This elevation call is a continuation, a raising, you might say, of what's been in place for a number of years, what we call the Jeep call. We called it that because it was really focused on helping everyone get a Jeep, and it continues to be that. When you start with Zalise, one of the first things that we talk about is building a team of people who want to build teams of people. And we're glad to have all the customers on, but you're on this call because you want to build a business, you want to help people, and you want to earn income. And so we have targets, goals, and one of those is really to have Stephen Thompson pay for a Jeep for us. Lisa and I picked up a meal today, and the girl that brought it out to us was talking all about our Jeep, how beautiful it is. And so twice today, our Zalise Jeep, twice today, we got names and phone numbers of people who wanted to know more about our Jeep, literally. So when we talk about the power of the Jeep and someone getting that paid for by Stephen, it continues to pay for itself when you earn your Jeep. And it happened literally twice today that in our phones, we have people we're communicating with as a result of literally having our Jeep in a parking lot and people talking to us about it. So anyway, there's that. But in order to earn your Jeep, you have to build a team. And we focus on getting paid every Friday. We've been talking about this over and over again for the last several weeks. There's actually on YouTube, Lisa and I created Fundamentals and Foundations on Team Unlimited Live, which you can find. And one of those two lessons is dedicated to getting paid every Friday. So if you like the idea of getting paid every Friday, if you've not tuned into that, picked it up on YouTube, watched it, have a mindset of that, getting paid every Friday, then you're really missing the mark, frankly, on how you earn your Jeep, how you get insurance paid for, and hit ranks in Zalise and building a residual income. So one of the ways you do that is by enrolling people. And every week we recognize people who are on our leaderboard from that one event on a weekly and monthly basis. And so this month, right now on our leaderboard, and I will tell you, things are picking up. People are beginning to show the plan. So it's harder and harder to get on the leaderboard on enrollments, the number of enrollments, and it's harder to stay on the leaderboard. So, so this week, this month right now, Jason Smith in Tyler, Texas, is on the leaderboard at number 4. And on our team right now, we congratulate him. But the rest of us who want to be on the leaderboard had better pick it up a little bit because there's still about half the month left in April to end the month on the leaderboard. So your goal every month is to get on that leaderboard and stay in the top 25 of the company. So
it's a great biomarker.
That's right. Yes, it is.
And I just wanted to kind of point out for those of you guys who are doing Project 500, there is a meeting now every single Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Central, unless we hear differently. And so you will use tonight the link that you used last week. That will not change from week to week.
For the Project 500.
For Project 500. So just the Zoom link, that's again, it's personally being mentored by Stephen. It's about putting 500 people in your home market. And so it's something that we're all plugging into, and we recommend that you do it as well. And then also, if you didn't hear Jenny and Tony's wonderful training call on Saturday morning, they post those calls on Team Integrity. And I try to actually repost those on Team Unlimited, but just so you know where those are found originally. But Jenny has found her new excitement, new engagement with what she is teaching now on the power of mindset at building this business. And Hal, you have really talked a lot about that as well, but this is really a shift for her.
Well, it is. Well, I was going to say about that, Lisa, is what she has said twice now. We've heard her in trainings where she was kind of discouraged, even as a black diamond, making money, but her discouragement was the same thing it is ours. People on our teams coming on board and falling away, or trying to build and not finding success. And she's been asking herself, she's been praying about it, she's been looking into it, she's searching her heart and what's going on. And really what it boils down to is she came down to the conclusion that it's how we think. It's really the patterns of our thinking that are repeated over and over, and that we have to change those things. And so she is beginning to really emphasize that. And I will tell you that is not going to change for her. She is full on 100%. What she basically says is the business will build itself if your mind, energy, focus is right. You will just naturally attract and do the things that need to be done if you are consistent in this. So anyway,
and she has posted her call on team integrity. We will post her call that she did for us last Sunday night very soon. There also was posted Stephen Thompson's call that he did for us last Saturday morning. And if you've not heard Stephen personally, you guys really, really take the time. It's about an hour to listen to what Stephen's really his mission, his vision for the future. It is very inspirational.
And it's different than what you get on Friday nights. It was for our team that he did it. And there were 50 something people on the call.
Yeah.
So if you were not one of those, or even if you were, and you want to go back and re-listen, I would encourage it. I would encourage you to go back and re-listen.
And so here's what I wanted to say, just in talking to some of our ambassadors, and even Hal and I, when you're thinking about Project 500, you're thinking about 500 people, adding that to your home market. You're thinking about all the different number of people that Stephen has us making lists, filling out the daily activity report. It is very easy to get overwhelmed and think, I'm just really not cut out for this. I'm not cut out to call on X number of people a day. Let's say, with Stephen, he's doing 5 meetings a day. And so if I can't do what Stephen says, then maybe I just am not cut out for this. Maybe I shouldn't do it at all. And I was feeling that very way in my first business. And I remember I had a mentor that said, what you need to do is you need to get into the habit of making one quality conversation every single day.
A what?
One quality conversation every single day. And whether you're full-time or part-time, it's really about the consistency of having those conversations with people. And we were just talking to Brent and Lee today. It's finding out the important things. It's finding out, what do you do for a living? And do you love what you do? And are you being paid what you're worth? Is this your end game? If there's anything about your life that you could change, what would you change? And finding out if there is any pain in someone's life that would make them a good fit for what we're doing.
A pain as in physical, or a emotional pain, a financial pain?
Physical, really. Okay. But what I'm looking for now is I'm looking for people who really are looking for something. They're looking for a change in their life. And if they don't really have a need for a change, they could qualify to be a product user, and that's great. But that's a default, guys. What we're looking for right now is we're looking for people to build our network. We're looking for people to help drive distribution. We're looking for business partners. And so if you can get in the habit, Hal, you're one of the best people I know, that Hal always has this kind of 3-foot antenna, the people that walk into his life, whether they make a comment about the Jeep, whether they don't make a comment at all, he will engage them in conversation. And several months ago, we actually had some water damage in our home. And we have met so many people through the process of getting this repaired.
Not just met, but got their numbers.
Got their numbers, sponsored some of them, who've led us to other people. So my point is that if we can really make the goal of having one quality conversation a day and getting really, really good at engaging with people, asking questions, not about what you tell them, but about the questions that you ask, and whether you feel like that they're looking for something, they're looking for a change, making a list, a living, breathing list that you're always expanding, you're always adding to it. That is what makes this a long-term and viable business over time. Don't feel like you have to go blitz and call 10 people in a day. Now, if you want to run for a period of time, that's great. But if you can discipline yourself to make that one quality conversation a day and follow up from that, keep that record, do it through your mobile app, do it through whatever means that makes sense for you. But that's really what will drive your business over time. And that's something that all of us can do.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
No, yes, I agree. Of course I agree. Yes.
So you guys, one quality conversation, that's 5 a week or 7 a week. Just get in the habit of reaching out and leading with love, meeting people.
So are you saying don't do the bubble, don't do what the form, or are you saying somewhere between making a commitment to yourself that, I can do one quality conversation a day? Absolutely. And doing 5 contacts every day, somewhere in between there, is hopefully your sweet spot. And I think I know what she's suggesting is, look, begin where you are. And if you can commit to one quality conversation a day that could potentially lead to a greater conversation about Zalise and the opportunity, then you've accomplished that goal. It may, maybe ultimately on your sheets, your goal will require you to show 3 plans a week, contacting 5 people a day. But if you're not there yet, begin with one quality conversation a day and set that as a goal and do that. And then potentially elevate that in time. But you will always have that one goal of, hey, I can do a quality conversation every day. And if I'm not leaving my house, maybe I can reach out to someone that I've not contacted before, an old friend, and just have a quality conversation with the intent of sharing what I'm doing now. Not to sell them at this point, but to have a quality conversation. So, I think it's a great point and a move toward. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I agree.
So I want to hear so you guys, Hal wanted to plan tonight's call. And partly it was because I had a birthday this last week. Thank you guys for all the beautiful birthday wishes for me. And he goes, Lisa, you deserve kind of a night off from planning the Jeep call, the elevation call. And so as a result, Hal has something up his sleeve.
So I told her, like, part of her birthday present was that I wanted to take like the lead and do the elevation call. So I want y'all to all look at my face. Okay. And so y'all that know Lisa very well, when I suggested that maybe I take the lead on the leadership call, can y'all imagine what her face looked like? Like,
I did not.
Yes, she did. It's like, oh, I'm not sure I can let go of that. Okay. Right. It was a little bit of that. Yes, it was. It's like, okay, but what are you gonna do, Hal? And so I just said, Lisa, you do deserve not to have to plan this whole thing. And you serve so beautifully, wonderfully, with so much energy. And I have some things I'd kind of like to do tonight, a little different. So if tonight's call is a big flop and you don't learn a thing, it's not any good, it's all on me. Okay. So here's what I want to begin with. A number of you have heard Jenny Lusby's either training yesterday or last week. And so I want to take right now, for all of you, for any of you, and again, we're going to keep this very limited because there's more to go. So I really want you to speak very directly and specifically. I don't have anybody lined up to speak, but we're going to go by rank. So if your highest rank as a Zalise ambassador is an associate, and you know what that is, and you're an associate ambassador, and you would like to share and unmute what you learned from Jenny, just take a minute and do that. Nobody above associate can speak at this point. Is there any associate that would like to share?
Yeah, I'll share, Hal.
Go, Dan.
When I just kind of watch, and when she got on, the very first few words she was saying just like hit me really hard. And I don't know why, because I know what, we've talked about the same thing. But the one thing she did, she showed her dream board, and she talked a lot about the Mustang that, that she wanted at the time. And then you and I had the conversation that I really have a hard time building a dream board because I pretty much have everything I want as far as things. And then, through our conversation, we brought up like what things that have nothing to do technically with dreaming, but cause you no resistance. So, you talked about having a book that had nothing to do with anything Zalise oriented or business oriented. So I decided to make a board, and instead of calling it a dream board, I call it the board of non-resistance. And it's kind of big, but I put pictures of things that I like to do. That's me fly fishing. I was in a Darth Vader outfit when I was fly fishing. These are my marionettes that I like to make. Bike riding, guitar, judo. The only place I really love to go is Morro Bay, which is this up here. So I guess this is kind of my dream board. And the one thing, just to end this so that we can keep it quick, was I realized that like my dream board all revolves around time. having time to go do those things. And when you have whether you're, working 8, 12, whatever your hours are, you tend not to have that kind of time. So it's kind of given me more focus to why I want to do Zalise.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. All right. Any other associates want to real quickly share?
Hi,
Who is that?
it's Kristin.
It's
Oh,
Christine.
Christine. Okay,
We're
Florida.
in the dark.
Go.
I guess what I took most of the different talks that Jenny did was actually what Tony Mosby said. That he had a 30-year habit, 30+ year habit, that he had to make up his mind to take that first step away from an automatic habit. And, it's been 7 days, he said, that he's worked on this habit, getting away from this habit. And sometimes that one day at a time, especially for somebody like me, who is very nervous about that quality conversation once a day. What he said is the biggest bite that I took out of the presentation. And I think that, God put certain people in your path at any given moment in time for a reason. And that bit of information that I took from him was my biggest takeaway from that whole presentation right there.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. So thank you, Christine. All right. How about a community ambassador? If your highest rank is community, if you would somebody would volunteer to speak for a minute on Tony's teaching or Jenny's.
Okay,
Hi,
I'll
Hal.
speak.
I will.
Oh, who is this?
Well,
Thelma?
Tammy and somebody else.
Okay. All right,
And,
Tammy.
and me,
Tammy
yes,
first,
Thelma.
And then Dr. Thelma.
Okay, so I'm gonna get out of my comfort zone and talk. So I had actually listened to both, times that she had spoke basically, and just basically, your mind is so powerful, and what you feed your mind is like very, very important, and what other people feed your mind, and then it's making sure that you know how she talked about your subconscious mind and conscious mind, and it's what you're feeding it, and and just feeding it positive things create positive outcomes. And that's really important, because that's what a lot of people struggle with is your thinking and what's feeding your mind, basically what you allow to feed your mind.
Awesome. That's it. Spot on. Thank you. And you did really well outside of your comfort zone. Thank you. Thelma, did you want to share?
Sure. And I just got back to San Antonio, so I was driving, so I'm not driving and trying to talk at the same time. But I think for me, I listened to her both times also, and I have been working very diligently with Dr. Stephen Todd on, what you say when you talk to yourself and the self-talk. And so we have been doing our weekly coaching, and it just obviously kind of, meshed together, because it was exactly what Jenny was talking about just what you say to yourself, and not realizing that there can be all these roadblocks with your conscious mind and your subconscious mind on just what you say when you talk to yourself. So it just was a good confirmation on, you really, really have to work on that self-talk and, get better at every day. Because if, my goal is to be a black diamond, but to be a black diamond, I have to hit area, and to hit area, I have to really work on that I'm deserving and that I can do the work to achieve that goal. And anyway, listening to Jenny was just confirmation that we all have to work on that conscious and subconscious mind and what we tell ourselves and what we deserve.
Awesome.
So it was good. It was awesome.
Thank you so much, Thelma. All
You're
right.
welcome.
So let's move to city. Do we have a city ambassador who'd be willing to share a takeaway?
Hey there, Hal and Lisa. It's Eric Wheeland and Kristin.
Hey, Eric, Kristin.
So I have some recent experience with this mind-body conversation that goes on, and these pathways that get built up. And until we recognize that we have these pathways built up, there's not much we can do about it. In fact, we're kind of working unconsciously that we think we're conscious. And the other day I was driving home, and the last thing I wanted to do was work out. I was tired, and I was coming up with all these justifications, and the workout has become a commitment for me. And it's kind of like the Zalise commitment, the weekly activity commitment. I make these commitments, and then all of a sudden I come up against the wall of, why am I not doing these commitments? And what I learned was that the moment I took some action, the mind took over the body, and the body started doing what the mind wanted. But until that, I was being worked by these old pathways. I've had a friend of mine from college called me. We haven't spoken in 33 years. And I brought him the presentation. And for me to do that was, as we know, it's a big deal for me to overcome that. And this guy's kind of a high flyer, big finance guy, intimidating. And yet I just went ahead and dove right into it. And there's some interest. We'll see what happens. But that's, overcoming these fears by action is what it takes. I was told one time that fear is really wide and really tall, but it's not very thick. So you just walk right through it. Thanks.
Thanks, Eric.
Awesome,
Thank
Eric.
you. Anyone else at the city ambassador rank want to take just a minute?
Okay.
I'll say one thing.
Okay. Oh, hey, we got two. So I know we got some cities that want to. Go ahead, Susan.
So one of the first things she said was that 95% of success is mindset. The other 5% is strategy. And really, if you buy into that and you believe that, well, then that blows away all of the concerns you have about, for instance, I'm always teasing Lisa when she coaches me, is that I always say, this shit just rolls out of your mouth. How do you know what to say when you say things? It's just so natural to you. And so I always struggle with that feeling like I don't know the right things to say at the right time. But if you believe in what she's saying, that 95% of success is really in your mind, then it's not the strategy and it's not what you say. It's like what Hal said earlier. It's just, being caring and being natural and being real and believing in yourself and having the mindset for that. So that just breaks it and makes it real simple.
Thank you, Susan. I know that Lorena Werkmeister wants to speak, and I also know that she's going to do an awesome job of sharing as a city ambassador.
Oh, thank you very much. Actually, we were at Mary Ellen's house. We actually spent Friday so we could be there on Saturday, and putting yourself into your dream and really using your imagination. And we've been dreaming more than we knew. Yeah. It's really interesting to say that. So
okay, yeah.
But,
Saturday morning, we were able to sit out on Mary Ellen and Roger's deck and drink coffee. And I took a picture of the view of the lake. And that's exactly what I want. So when I got home, I put it on my computer as my screen. And this morning, I had a cup of coffee and I turned it on. And in my mind, I felt like the lake was right in front of me. It was my dream right in front of me, something we're seeing, so, and, we're gearing towards it. And what Jenny said, if, your dream is strong enough, facts don't count. You're going to get it. You just got to keep seeing it and believing it. And, that's just reinforced.
and we actually listened to Dennis Waitley on our way down and back. And when we got back to take our car back, Enterprise actually has Jeeps. So we said, hey, can we rent Jeeps? And so next time we're going to drive a Jeep. At least it'll be dream building.
Yeah.
So if we're going to call, they said, yeah, call ahead of time.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that when we come down again next time. So
What a great idea.
That
How
is an
beautiful.
awesome
That's
idea.
awesome.
I love that.
Okay, so we're up to area. So we've gone associate, community, city, and now area. Do we have any area ambassadors that would like to share about the Lesbies Call?
We'll go first.
It's Jim and Linda. Hey guys, there is no doubt that where Jenny Lusby is leading this team is where we all need to be. I am so excited to hear it, experience it, to be part of it, because this is the key. There's just not a doubt in my mind. I remember when Donna Nunn, my sweet friend, I was no more than, didn't even have my gold pack. And I get on a three-way call with Eva Angelopoulos. And I'll never forget Eva asking me, you know, what is it that you want from this business? And because of our past experience, I said, you know, Eva, I don't want the hype. I don't want anything about, I don't want the rah-rah. Just give me the money. Okay. I don't care about the rank. I don't care about the cars. I don't care about any of that. Just give me the money. And I'm here to tell you guys, my mindset was so poor, so bad that I couldn't even believe to dream. And the reality that we live in, and there is a real thing that we live in, but to bridge us to our future, it is up here. That is where we bridge. And so I will tell you that what I have embraced, and thank goodness for Hal and Lisa and their tutelage and all that they have their patience as we've gone through this. But thank goodness also for Jenny Lusby. I remember May of 2020 calling Jenny Lusby and saying, Jenny, how do you get from the reality of where you are to where you want to go? When we have that conversation, guys, latch on. This is not, it says, this is neuroscience. This is real stuff. This is what, you know, I love the fact that we're talking about chiropractors. You know, I spent yesterday just studying Thurman Fleet. You know, that's what I did all day yesterday. But, you know, and Joe Dispenza, another chiropractor, right? But here's the thing, as a chiropractor, I talk every day about the brain-body connection, how that works. But we're not talking about brain body. We are talking about the mind body. And so going from where we are, it's a matter of taking that mind and moving it forward. I am so excited. This is nothing new to me in the sense of knowing, but gosh, guys, the application of it and moving through it, this is where we are. And I would tell you, because of leadership, because of Jenny and Tony and Hal and Lisa, Jim and Linda, Steve and Jenny, all of us here as leaders, as we embrace this, we will change generations of people. I'm so excited. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Such
Thank
power.
you. Any other?
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Okay, go ahead, Angela.
Just quickly, I posted something recently. Paul J. Meyer was my first mentor, and that was 100 years ago. And he was one of the first people in this country to really promote positive thinking and dreaming and just the whole 9 yards. And he had a saying that was his favorite quote, and it became one of mine as well. And it's, whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. And I think those words put in the format that it's in is exactly what she was talking about both times she's trained us. It's all about what we can see in our minds and know that it's something that we want desperately, or maybe not desperately, we want it. We have our dreams and our goals. And so, but we have to know what that is. And I think this is a perfect statement to say that. I think Lisa's got that. Lisa, don't you have that saying?
I do. I have it framed
It's
on
on
my
the wall.
desk.
It's been on the wall and it's on the desk now. So that quote from Paul J.
It's perfect.
And if you don't know Paul J. Meyer, you should look him up.
Thank
He's
you,
awesome.
Angela. Patty.
Hey guys, it's Patty. Yeah, and I just love everybody's different perspective, because it gets back down to, you know, positive thinking. But I know that I say a lot about real estate, but, you know, that's just kind of my background for 33 years. But in 2008, when they had a recession, I say because I chose not to participate in the recession, and my real estate business did very well because I chose not to participate in the recession. So no matter what people around us are saying, you know, we have to make that choice every day that we're going to do this no matter what. But I loved when Jenny put the visual on the whiteboard, because, you know, I've heard it in many different ways and stuff, but, you know, we have to make sure that we're feeding our mind every single day with the positive thoughts, and don't let the negative drag us down. And, you know, there again, in my Amway business, I learned that you have to really distance yourself from negative people, because they can really pull you down, and people are either dreamers or not, and those two people don't understand each other. And I think it's just so important that we dreamers make sure that we're trying to bring people along who want to dream with us, and don't let anybody pull us down.
Thanks, Patty. All right, how about regional ambassador? They don't got a lot to choose from on this one, guys, yet, but this time next year, we'll have a bunch.
Well, I'd like to comment, Jenny and I would. So, and just talk about what Jenny Lusby talked about, how everybody here, guys, you know, I think the difference between, and what you mentioned to you guys the other day and all that is that you have some choices you can make with what she said. You can monitor what you say and what you think every minute. And you can edit it. You can edit your talk. You can actually stop when you think something negative, and you can stop when you think something that's not moving you forward. And guys, the difference between you and a goose, or any animal, is goose can fly north and south, you know, but it can't go east and west. And we humans, we are species that can make choices and go east and west, north and south. So but that's been not, that mindset has been told to us that we can only go north, south. And you believe it, and you don't even know you believe it. And you have choices you can make, but those choices will be made by your subconscious mind. They'll be made for you. So unless you determine and make those determinations yourself, you'll find that your choices are made, and you never made those choices yourself. So like Jenny's teaching now, learn to monitor what you say every moment of every second that you think it, and edit it. Make sure you edit it, what you say, all the time. And don't go a day, don't go a minute without editing your thinking, because it'll get out of control. It will. It'll be your mind. You never are stagnant in your mind. It never sits still. It's always on. You're on 24/7, whether you like, and that's your subconscious mind. And one more thing, guys, your subconscious mind is your endocannabinoid system too. So because you're fueling your mind with CBD, CBG, that's not just a talk. That's real science. That's as real science as neuroscience. And endocannabinoid science is real science. Many of you might not get that, but it's a real deal when you fuel your mind with high quality CBD, CBG, and you're fueling the chemical pathways in your brain are becoming new, and you're restarting them. It's like putting high octane fuel in an old engine. You know, I mean, it's going to run really, really efficient. So these are real sciences that Jenny's talking about. And endocannabinoid science is real. And when these people tell you, and people say, well, no, I think Jenny talked to somebody about that today. You know, somebody veterinarian, well, I've been researching this. No, they haven't been researching it. They're just giving you, they don't know anything about it. You do. So go forward, set your mind straight, go forward and be bold and tell people what you know, because you know a lot. But you'll let people tell you, you don't know. Or that guy researching it, he doesn't know anything, okay? Not you gotta be brassy about it, but guys, you guys know more about endocannabinoid science than the rest of the world is not on this call, or they're not in Zalise. You guys know a lot about this. And stand up, make the choice, and step forward with it, okay? Step forward. And you guys will find, like Hal said, you guys will knock it out this year. All of us will. And Stephen, what he's done is he hasn't, you know, he's just done what he's always said he's done. He's promoting what we should be doing, right? And he's getting us to hold us accountable to what we have to do in this business to move it forward. He's holding our feet to the fire. If you want to participate in 500, if you don't, that's fine. But you know, it gets me, it gets all of us out of the mindset, the negative mindset that, you know, here's a way to look at that. If you want to get up and exercise at 5 o'clock every morning, and you know you need to get up and exercise at 5 o'clock, you know you got to, you know you have to, you know it's best for you. But let's say that you get up and their alarm goes off and you hit the snooze button. Why did you do that? You did that because your subconscious mind, you didn't even make the thought. Subconscious mind told you to hit the snooze button, not get up. And that's what Stephen's doing. He's forcing us to move forward by being held accountable. And you may not like it, and it really doesn't matter whether you like it or not, because your subconscious mind doesn't like it anyway. It doesn't want you to do anything any different than be your old self. That's all it wants you to be. It wants you to be in the world. It wants you to be in your old self. It doesn't want you to have your dreams. It doesn't want you to have your friends that we're here on this call. It doesn't want us to be here. It wants us to be with the world. And we are special. Okay. You guys are special. So step out, make your choices, edit and monitor what you say every minute, every day. And you'll find you'll change, just like Jenny's talking about.
Well, I'd like to say one. This is a little not along the lines of what everybody is saying, but I really, really appreciate the phenomenal leader that she is, and telling everyone that she struggles with this also.
Yes.
That kind of made me feel, oh, good. You know, oh, if she can feel that way, well then, gosh, it's okay for me to have those same feelings. And I truly appreciate her humbling herself and just being honest with everybody. And it lifted me to know that, gosh, she feels that way. And, you know, if she needs to work, I definitely need to work. But that's one of the things that I really, really cherish about these calls with everyone in this business is how open that people just share from their heart. And it's just food for my soul. And I just love, love, love seeing y'all's faces. I love hearing your stories. I just love it. This is just great. And I just thank everybody that shared. I just really, really, I'm just love every one of y'all's friendships. Haven't even met, but a handful of you, but I love you right now. So thank you so much.
And guys, back to Jenny's self-talk, teaching self-talk. It's no time to play games with this. You need to move this forward. You don't need to be sitting around thinking about whether she says is right way, wrong way. Stephen says this, don't think about what he's saying, just do it. Put the numbers down and just do it. Don't think about it, because if your subconscious mind will, at this point, until your self-talk gets stronger, your belief gets stronger, your self-belief gets strong. It'll tell you not to do that. It'll tell you not to fill out Stephen sheets. It'll tell you what you can do. And you have to stretch yourself and take it on faith, not spiritual faith, but on faith, on the true faith that Zelise has your back, that Stephen has your back, that Hal and Lisa have our back, and that they truly are our inspiration. Not just that, they're our leaders, and they're telling you, move forward. Don't let your own negative self-talk. You'll never know, if you don't do this business, how much your self-talk can defeat you, and it will defeat you if you let it. So that's what Jenny's message is.
Thank you guys. Thanks everybody. So I'm going to continue on, and we always want to hear from different people on our team, and tonight has been, I think, super, super, super impactful for all of us. And so now we're up to regional, and oh, hey, Judy.
Hey. Yes. I'm here.
Oh, so are you sharing with us?
Regional, so yeah, I thought I was waiting.
Okay, very good. You go now. Yeah.
Go now? Okay. I think the thing that I have taken from the very beginning of this business and has just continued to go through is the people that are involved, the way from Lisa, Jenny, Angela, everyone within this group that sees this dream feels so wonderful to be a part of all of your lives. And we all struggle, and I've been doing a lot of struggling, and so I've been working at it, not as diligently probably as I should, But I wanted to tell you what happened last night, and Angela can kind of go with this, but Bella's 9 and she was just having a really bad afternoon, and she was crying, and her friend didn't like her and all this kind of stuff. And we're going through them moving into the new house, and it's just really a mess over here. So I just kind of said, you know what, let me tell you what Angela taught me and Paul J. Meyer and when I first got involved. And I drew the little V with the today is where we are today, and tomorrow is where we're going to go. And there's a little V. In fact, I've got a picture of it because Bella drew it too. And what we were trained is we all fall down into the alligators and ugly stuff. And I said, this is where we're at right now. We're just kind of down in the ugly stuff, but it's going to get better when we go tomorrow. And my 9-year-old granddaughter, immediately, I thought, this is what we can all learn. Immediately, instead of looking at the V, she drew an upward V, attached it to make a mountain, and used the AA. I'm trying to read it off because I can't remember it. Amazing. So she put her AAO or US. I can't see it all. Anyway, but she drew it up to the top, and I had drawn it to the bottom. And so she drew at the top, and she said, this is our amazing, Angela may have to help me with this, unconditional, no, I can't get it all. But point being is immediately she took that downtime and went up. And if we could all remember to do that, I think we'll all be better. And I'll post it for you because she drew it for Angela and sent it to her because she talked to Angela about it. And Angela asked her the questions, and of course, so it was a great evening. Lessons from my best friend, Angela Noble, and my angel that has saved me through so much, and introducing me to Paul J. Meyer.
Awesome. Thank you, Judy. So this leads right into, I wasn't expecting that, but this leads into my takeaway. So I'm going to share my takeaway from Jenny's lesson. And so when Jenny was talking about how when she was trying to get to college and then through college and nursing school, and I've heard her share this story before, how she wanted that car, that convertible Mustang, and how she went in there and she just said, I'm gonna, that's the car I want. And she ended up not only graduating from college and nursing school, which she was told that she probably couldn't, and then saw that car that she got. Here was my takeaway. She didn't know any better, guys. And I want you to get that. I want you to write that down. She didn't know any better. She didn't know that she couldn't. She didn't even think about it. It's been her story. Jenny has been very successful in several businesses, as well as a nurse, a mom, a wife. And much of that, it's not without struggle. I will tell you, she shared her story. They've lost a lot. They've been through a lot. She grew up in a very difficult situation. But she didn't know that she couldn't do it. She never thought about it. She just didn't think about it. And that's the point that I really want you to get. I even brought it up with her. And when my takeaway was that as she shared that, what I realized is that in her words, she was what she called an unconscious competent. And I don't want you to get stuck on that, but I do want you to think about what an unconscious competent might be. To me, it's a person who does something without really thinking about it and finds success in it. Okay? And so though we do set goals, we write them down and we have to grow and so forth. But sometimes we get weighted down with all the things that we have to do to get it done. So much so that there's nothing that feels good or comes natural about what we're trying to do. Nothing, not really. Changing our mindset, setting goals, sharing the program, putting products in front of people, making a list, getting on this call every Sunday night sometimes when you're tired. All those things can become weighty. And so here's what the unconscious competent person, when they're being successful, they're doing it somewhat naturally. And here's the other thing I want you to write down, and this is my takeaway, and the rest of this meeting is going to be about this. She is in the bubble. She was operating, unbeknownst to her, in the bubble of non-resistance. She was in the bubble of non-resistance. And so I will tell you that when I got into Zalise 2.5 years ago, for about a month and a half to 2 months, I was in the bubble of non-resistance. It didn't matter to me that I didn't understand the science. It didn't matter to me that I thought the word Zalise meant bliss instead of multiplying nutrition. It didn't matter to me that I was wrong when I said that they were manufacturing these products in Indiana. It didn't matter to me. It didn't matter. I didn't know any different. I didn't know I couldn't succeed. I didn't know the compensation plan. I didn't know who was going to be on my team. I didn't know any of those things. I was in the bubble of non-resistance. Everywhere I went, it felt good to share Zalise. Everywhere. It didn't matter. I was falling in love with Lisa. She was falling in love with me. I was falling in love with you guys. We were meeting each other. I was absolutely in the bubble of non-resistance. There was nothing that could come against me. And I will tell you, there have been plenty of things in my life, in our life, our personal life, our finances, my lack of money, my lack of time, all those things didn't matter. They bounced off of my fragile bubble of non-resistance. They bounced off of that fragile little bubble. But then I got thinking, I got to do more. I got to do more. And I got a few no's, and I got a few friends that didn't have a good product experience. And now that bubble became a little more dense. And it began to feel like a bowling ball instead of a bubble. And for many of us, we carry this thing around like it's a bowling ball that cannot be penetrated. And we drag some of this around like a ball and chain. We want to do it. We're told to make a dream board. And frankly, we don't have a car that we want to put up there. We don't have an oceanfront view that has beautiful blue and green waters that somebody else put up there. That's not in our dream. Maybe it's not a big fancy house. Maybe it's not even time, but we're told those are the things that need to be on the dream board. They need to be bigger than us. And when it comes right down to it, we even have resistance about making a dream board. It doesn't even feel good to make a dream board. And we're not functioning in the bubble of non-resistance. It's not there for us. So what I want to do right now is I ask you, or Lisa posted, I don't know if you did it or not, but I asked you to bring a ball to the meeting. And you don't have to if you didn't, but I didn't bring one because we're not here, but I literally took some paper towels and I rolled them up and made a little ball out of it. And I'm using this ball kind of as an illustration of how light it is. And part of the problem, guys, and we've talked about it all night. See, what does this have to do with mindset? Well, what it has to do with mindset is that we allow so many things to fill our mind with such negative, heavy things. And we must return and find those feelings and thoughts that have no resistance, at least for a few moments. And so I'm going to do something for about 10 minutes. It's 10 till 8. So what I want to ask you to do, I'm going to share a screen here. Let's see, share screen. And I want to, oops, wrong one. How come that didn't? There it is. So can we make that bigger?
Can everybody see this on a screen? Yeah, Jenny's.
Look like a bubble. Is it big or is it little?
It's big.
It's big. Okay.
It's big.
Okay. So what I want to ask you to do is I want everyone to turn your video off. I don't want you to have your self video on. I want to make sure you're muted. And if you're sitting next to your partner, your husband, your wife, I want you to just, let's everybody turn your screen off. Just listen in. So we're going to do something maybe not comfortable for you, but I'm going to lead us on an imagination journey right here for a minute. And I want us to experience, I'm going to try to experience what it feels like to have a moment of non-resistance. So I'm using this bubble and I'm going to just lead us. So just sit quietly. I would encourage you to look at the bubble or close your eyes. We're going to take about 8 to 9 minutes. And I want you to just follow my suggestions and what I say to do. So I want you to breathe in, just breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. And out. In. And out. And with this next breath, I want you to imagine that you're holding in the palm of your hand a light bubble. It's in your hand. It's strong enough. It's not going to break. You don't have to worry about it. It's not going to pop, but it's light. It has pink colors in it, blue colors. I want you to look into it. It's got clear. It's shining back at you. It's a bubble. It's very light. And I want you to look into that bubble. And as you breathe just naturally, I want you to think about, just let your mind go to some times in your life. Maybe it was childhood, maybe it was last week, maybe, I don't know where it is. Maybe it's with your children somewhere, maybe it's in a desert, maybe it's on a mountain, maybe it's next to a stream, maybe it's next to the ocean, you're by yourself. And you're looking into that bubble and you're just feeling and remembering some times in your life where it just felt good. It honestly just felt good and natural. There's no resistance. And I just want you to think about some of those times or a time and try to picture that moment, kind of relive it. Now, some of you, I promise you, there will be some things that try to pop that bubble, and some of your bubbles have already popped. Literally, it has exploded with thought. Something's caused it to pop. So if that's happened to you, I want you to take a breath and just imagine again another bubble. Some of you are seeing pictures in your bubble that are troublesome to you. They're bothering you. Others of you are deep within this and you're enjoying it, and that's just where you are. But the fact of the matter is that you're in a place that you can feel for just a moment what it feels like to be in non-resistance because you've experienced it. And now I want you to move in your mind. I want you to see just one thing that you desire in your future that you do not have today that would fit into this bubble very easily and naturally, and there's no resistance about it. Doesn't matter what it is, it's yours. But as you think about it, your bubble cannot pop. Your bubble becomes lighter and it begins to rise. And not only does it rise, but literally your hands and your face begin to rise with it. And now you begin to see a little more clearly, and you begin to feel what it feels like to have and to do and maybe to give or whatever it is in a way that is just there's no resistance at all. You're actually operating in this bubble of non-resistance, what that feels like. And I want you to imagine for yourself what fits in that bubble, what you can hold in your hands that you do not have today, your desires, your dreams. Now I want you to, as you look at that, I want you to hear these words, because this is the truth. The dream that you dream in this moment is the dream that God dreams through you. God is dreaming through you the dreams of his dreams, of God's dreams. And now there's no resistance when source, God, that which is all powerful to you and can only dream through you because that's the way it is. And there's no resistance there. And I want you to just feel what it feels like to be energized by a dream that's yours, but is not just yours. And I want you to feel that for just a moment. And I want you to just build upon that just for just a moment. If it begins to create resistance or it begins to feel heavy, then go back and lighten it. And now I want you to just express in your own way, in your own heart, in your own mind, gratitude for what you saw and what you felt for that, just that moment. I want you to just appreciate what that feels like for you. And that through this experience that you can kind of have a feel for how you can move forward just a little bit, how you can lean into the next thing. Maybe it's to have a quality conversation with one person a day. Maybe it's to anything in your life. It could be anything that you can actually move forward. And that what used to feel heavy to you tomorrow will feel lighter. And that you will guard for yourself and protect the efforts of your life. And if it becomes too heavy, you will not pick it up, but you will find something that is lighter to take action on. Pick up that which is heavy enough to cause you to grow, but not so heavy that causes you to fear. So now, just as we are coming back to end this little time of imagination and thought, just begin to breathe. Begin to kind of watch your bubble and just going to take the next minute. I'm going to be quiet and I want you to just watch and see what happens with your bubble. Okay, so what I'd like for you to do is if you want to come back on screen, we're going to close out the meeting. And I think we have a 9 o'clock call. Lisa, do you have anything you want to share?
I just want to say thank you, Hal. That was, it's a great exercise. I love the statement that if you can hold it in your hand, you can actually manifest it in your life. And I think that, this whole conversation has really shown us that is 95% of what we do in this business. So you've done a great job of outlining that for all of us.
Thank you. All right. So that was different, wasn't it? Oh man. Well, see if she ever turns the call over to me again, huh? So anyway, all right. So Lisa and I have a presentation that we're going to do. We have a plan we're doing, right? One-on-one.
Yeah.
A little bit between now and 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so we'll see you guys, those of you on Project 500 call. We will see you at that time. We're going to unstop the recording. Anybody have any input or final things they want to say before we go?
Thank you.